A very good afternoon everyone. Welcome back to your class. After 2 days we are again together. Today you can find little weather is changes, somewhat little hot, in morning it was cold. So it is now changing, no, weather. It's now, we can say, the winter is knocking at the door and we'll have a chilly days and feeling cold, but at the same time I feel winter season is like a little warming up and cheerful time, when everywhere we have a healthy diet and we'll have lots of vegetables available to keep us healthy. So let's hope this winter will be a good and joyful, having the positivity, not any of the negativity. So with hoping for the positive coming time, we will continue the class. Previous class we have completed the second section from your second chapter of literature reader, the Tsunami. In that we discussed the story of Tilly Smith, a small girl who went for Christmas vacations to Thailand and experienced horrible tsunami there. Due to her awareness and her recovery of knowledge, she regained, she actually recalled, and she was able to guess the signs of that tsunami before time. She was able to save her family, escaped her family unhurt, and many more people. This time, today's class, we are going to study third section of the story. So here we have third section on the story with one picture that is already given in your book, and here it is given, when do you think this picture was taken? Did you know that very few animals actually died in the tsunami? So whoever has taken that picture and shared with us, at present we are here to discuss the story. Let's see what is given here. In the beginning of the story it is given, look carefully at the picture of the boy and his dog. The boy is sitting with his dog here, and try to describe the things that you see using just words and phrases. Either the teacher or one of the students can write down the words and phrases on the blackboard. This is how you can start: calm, blue sea, ruined hearts, like that. So it is expected from us to describe the picture. You can see the boy sitting very silently, showing no cheerful expressions. Even a dog is sitting silently, not playing or moving here and there. It shows that the picture is not sharing any pleasant atmosphere. And surely the chapter which we are discussing about tsunami, we have discussed the stories of the life of some of the people who showed their courage, who fought in that adverse situation and who survived. So the same scenarios here, you can describe the picture later on in writing. Now we will continue with the next part of this screen here, the text of the story, the text from the lesson. It is given here, before the giant waves slammed into the coast in India and Sri Lanka, wild and domestic animals seemed to know what was about to happen. So we have seen in which part of the countries this tsunami strike affected, destroyed, brought destruction. Before it happened, before tsunami occurred, before people experienced those giant waves, before that only it was observed or it was noted down that many wild and domestic animals already realized, they felt what was about to happen then, and that alertness, that their sense of unfortunate time or something mishappening reacted, or it expressed through their behavior. How So they fled to safety. These wild or domestic animal who sensed that danger, who felt it in prior, who realized that something was wrong to happen there, they escaped from the place wherever they were, or they tried to keep themselves on a safer place where they would be able to survive or keep themselves safe from that disaster. According to eyewitness accounts, elephants screamed and ran for higher ground. Eyewitness means the people who were present at that time, who experienced this awareness of the animals, and later on they might possible that time they didn't realize why the animals were behaving weird there, but later on when they experienced tsunami, they realized that the animals were able to guess it in advance. So whatever the people present there that observed there, that the elephants were trumping loudly, they screamed loudly, they made the loud noise, and then they ran to the higher places where they would be safe. Dogs refused to go outdoors. That means domestic dogs, pet dogs who were at home and who usually come out of the home at that specific time, they realized that going out of home might create problem for them, they would be in danger. So they refused to go out. They were not ready to leave the safer place they were actually in the beginning, or they were already. Flamingos abandoned their low-lying breeding areas. Flamingos, birds who give the birth to their babies near the coastal areas or in the bedside, or this type of animals there, they left those places near the coastal areas and left somewhere else, flew somewhere else, and zoo animals rushed into their shelters and could not be enticed to come back out. So the zoo animals, those who were kept in zoo, who were wandering might be out of their shelters in the free space given to them, they ran back to their cages, to their shelters, and were not enticed, means not attracted, or could not be persuaded to come out of from their shelter. Though the human beings who were there came to visit the zoo, they might showed something to them, or even the caretakers tried to bring these animals for any reason outside, they denied or they refused to come out of their safer shelters, having any thing to show them, means at any cost they were not ready to leave their safer places, their shelters there. So this type of a weird behavior, we can say, or unusual or little different behavior was observed by the eyewitness, the people who were present there. So what does it show? That many people believe that animals possess a sixth sense and know when the earth is going to shake. So the people who saw these things happening, the people who experienced that animals behavior and later on they experienced the tsunami there, they realized that the animals were sensed that disaster, and that's why prior they took safety measures, they tried to save themselves. So the human beings believed that might possible or may possible these animals have a sixth sense, something unusual power they have, so that they can sense these disasters, these problems in advance. So according to human beings, it is their opinion. So according to them, animals realize these things in advance. Like sometimes it happens, we feel suddenly negative or upset, and we, like someone say eye is blinking again and again, it gives some bad omen, and or like crows are crowing, or a cat crosses the road or something, we feel like a bad omen, that something is going to happen wrong. And if it happens coincidentally, people says that, see, I told you, I sensed that negativity and all that. But here the eyewitness feel that the animals had that sixth sense. They can feel the negativity in coming time, in future. So they believe that because of the sixth sense, these animals can feel the vibrations of the earth, even that cannot be sensed by we human beings. Some experts believe that animals' more accurate hearing helps them to hear or feel the earth's vibration. When some of the people has opinion that it's a sixth sense that helps the animals to feel the vibrations of the earth. Other hand, some of the people thought that it's their acute, extraordinary listening ability helps them to catch the frequency of that low vibrations of the earth. Even the vibrations of the earth which we human being cannot hear, we cannot feel. So their hearing ability that catches more a strongly frequency of that low volume, or we can say that one, these animals are able to that. So their acute hearing power enabled them to sense the vibrations and to escape them from that condition, that disaster. They can sense an approaching disaster long before humans realize what's going on or what's going on. So before human realize, before human being understand, before human being can make a count, can understand, can realize, can sense, can feel, animals are able to do that. So in that matter, animals are better than human beings in sensing the problems, in sensing the upcoming disasters. Okay. So this is what the observation or the opinions of the people share here with us. So we come to know, we can feel, we can understand what people think about the incident took place during that disaster. Whatever it is, we cannot be sure whether animals have a sixth sense or not. But the fact is that the giant waves that rolled through the Indian Ocean killed more than 150,000 people in a dozen countries, but not many animals have been reported dead. So whatever the logic the people are giving, whatever the opinion people are sharing about the ability of animals and human beings, whatever the comparison people are doing, whatever the eyewitness told about animals, whatever it is, the fact is, whatever the theories were shared or opinions were shared, it's not, they are not changing the fact that in that tsunami, when the number of countries suffered, in total 150,000 people died, humans lost their lives. In Indian counting, we can say 150,000 people were trapped by that tsunami. In comparison, very less animals were found dead. So this fact, this ratio makes us clear that animals were able to save themselves since that tragedy, since that disaster, natural calamity, whatever the reason, but animals were able to escape before human beings. Along India's Cuddalore coast, where thousands of people perished, buffaloes, goats and dogs were found unharmed. So one of the coastal areas experience is shared here, where the thousands of people were killed by tsunami. Very less animals, cattle were found dead. So that ratio again proves the saying of earlier saying about the ability of animals sensing the disaster. The Yala National Park in Sri Lanka is home to a variety of animals including elephants, leopards and 130 species of birds. So, we know national park means treat for the animal lovers. They can go and see the variety of animals and birds there. They can study about them, they can enjoy watching them. So, here Yala National Park was such a site where the tourists can go, animal lovers can go and enjoy the life of animals there. That place also, when tsunami strikes, 60 visitors were washed away from the Patanangala beach inside the park, but no animal carcasses were found except for 2 water buffaloes. So, inside that national park there is a water body, there is a beach, that is Patanangala beach is there, and when the tsunami faded, when after the tsunami the people took a note of the visitors and the survivors, they found that 60 carcasses, means 60 people, 60 visitors were taken away, swept away, washed away by tsunami. 60 people lost their lives, we can say, but very few, means there is no animal dead body found, no carcasses found except 2 water buffaloes. Only 2 water buffaloes found dead in comparison of 60 human beings. So, you can find the ratio and you can understand why the earlier theory is discussed here with us about the animals' senses and sixth sense. Okay. So, about an hour before the tsunami hit, people at Yala National Park had observed 3 elephants running away from the Patanangala beach. So, this is what the eyewitnesses said. Before an hour only, before 60 minutes of tsunami, elephants were found running to the safer place. The visitors, those who were there, enjoying the visit of national park, they didn't have any idea, they didn't realize what was happening, what was about to take place or what they would be facing in the coming future, but these animals in front of those visitors ran to the safer place, and that was also 1 hour before. How long in prior they sensed that, or they sensed that disaster, we can say. A Sri Lankan gentleman who lives on the coast near Galle said his 2 dogs would not go for their daily run on the beach. So, now one more experience is shared here from Sri Lanka. A man who had his pet dogs, and it was their routine that he used to take them on a beach for a walk and for having some recreational activities, some playing games and all. But that day they are usually excited to go on this outside outing, he said, but on that day they refused to go and most probably saved his life. So, this person from Sri Lanka is saying that his dogs were fond of playing on the beach. They were always found excited to go out of house for outing. They were always ready before that man to go out on their usual play. But that day on 26th December, after his lots of trial also, he tried a lot, but his dogs were not ready to go out of home, out of house. He didn't realize what was the reason, but later on when he was saved and his dogs were saved from tsunami, he realized that it was because of his dogs only even his life was saved, because he didn't go out. If he could go out with his dogs, he might possible could get swept away with the tides. So, he realized that his dogs felt that those vibrations of the earth, or his dogs sensed that tsunami in the in advance only, and they refused to go out of house for their usual play, and their awareness, their that sense saved not only their life but even their master's life, that man's life also. So because of his dog he was alive at that time, that we could say. So here the chapter ends. The last story is discussed here. Actually these are the mixed examples from the different parts, where the writer tried to make it clear that animals were found less, or animal life has a less damage than the human life in this type of natural calamities. So here the explanation part is over. Let's see what we have after this. Now we have comprehension check, that is based on specifically third section, and then we have the question answers based on the whole chapter, means all three parts. So first is given comprehension check. In the tsunami 150,000 people died. How many animals died? So animals we have to find here overall. When we have seen the comparison, very few animals died. So you can simply write, in comparison of human beings, very few animals died in tsunami. Then how many people and animals died in Yala National Park? So here we have discussed that 60 visitors and only 2 water buffaloes died in tsunami in the Yala National Park. Third is, what do people say about the elephants of Yala National Park? According to the eyewitness, according to the visitors of the Yala National Park, what behavior of the elephants they have seen? So you can write down that the people, or about the elephants of the Yala National Park, people said that before an hour of the tsunami, elephants found roaring, screaming and running towards the higher places. So that was sufficient, that is given already in the book, so you can as it is write there. Okay. Then the fourth is, what did the dogs in Gale do? The 2 dogs of the men, they refused to go on the beach for their usual outing. So that you can write. So in this way, so you can directly find the answers of these questions in the book. So I have not written there, you can find the correct sentences also in the book, you just have to write according to question. So this is what the comprehension check we have discussed. Now we will see is there any doubt, like this part of explanation is over and we have discussed this comprehension questions also. Now if you have any doubt, I am giving you time, let me know. So students, please let me know, you can go through the part, you can tell me whether your concept about the comparison of human ability and animals ability sensing the tsunami or that calamity, you understood or not, what are the examples shared here about, or to prove this saying, right, or to support this saying that is discussed in the part, that you have to see. So if there any doubt, you find anything there, so let me know. Do you have any questions? Because no queries are reflecting or flashing on the screen. So let us see, we will go through the question answers. Till then, if we have any query here, we will discuss it. Now working with the text, it is given, when he felt the earthquake, do you think Ignatius immediately worried about a tsunami? Give reasons for your answer. Which sentence in the text tells you that the Ignatius family did not have any time to discuss and plan their course of action after the tsunami struck? So this story, the question is based on the very first story from section 1. You may remember section 1 part, first story. Okay, the manager from the cooperative bank. Here we have seen who lost his father-in-law, brother-in-law and his wife and 2 children. So the first question is, when he felt the earthquake, when Ignatius realized that his wife told him that she felt tremors on the ground, and he realized that it was a tsunami or something unusual, then that time, do you think Ignatius immediately worried about a tsunami? Do you think that he suddenly thought of, or he he felt the disaster or that calamity he would have to face? He realized that something like tsunami he would need to experience? Yes or no, that is the only answer you have to give. So what will be the answer? Do you feel he sensed it? He realized it? So obviously our answer will come no, because, so you can write answer for this question no, because it was quite clear that if he could sense it, he could find a safer place for his family instead of running here and there. Second, give reason for your answer. What is the reason? Because he was instead of finding the safer place, he just tried to put his TV on the ground first. So he might thought it was just an ordinary earthquake, that he would be, means his family would be able to survive, only little bit loss or damage they could have. So he tried to cover that damage. So that gives us clear idea that he didn't have any clue of tsunami. Which sentence in the text tells you that Ignatius' family did not have any time to discuss and plan their course of action after tsunami struck? How we come to know that Ignatius and his family had no time to plan their actions during tsunami, to plan how they could save themselves. So if you open the chapter in the beginning only, when you will read it, you will come to know that in the chaos, in the confusion, his father-in-law and brother-in-law and his two children ran in the opposite direction. So this sentence from the story let us clear or make us clear that they had no time to decide their course of action, their that precautions, preventive measures they were unable to take. So this answer is very clearly mentioned here. From the first part, first story, all the answers for these questions are available, so you can easily find it there. So we have discussed here first question. Now second question is, which words in the list below describe Sanjeev in your opinion? Look up the dictionary for words that you are not sure of. So now these words are given and these blanks are given here. Now as Sanjeev, the policeman about whom we read in the chapter, who was escaped from that tsunami fortunately in the beginning, but later on he tried to help the guest house cook's wife, and unfortunately he was swept away from there. So what do you think about that person? What do you think, what type of human being he was? So based on the guess only, because we have no clear information about the personality of that person, about the behavior of that person, nature of that person, but knowing this story we can have some hints, we can have some guess for him. So the words are given here: cheerful, that is joyful; ambitious means who has lots of dreams to achieve. Then brash is the word that means we can say actually not social, we can say not too easy to or the one who talks a lot about himself, we can say. Now brash is a person who talks a lot about himself. Brave, we know it's courageous. Careless means a person who is neglecting the important things. Then heroic means having the courage. Selfless means the person who thinks for others. Then heartless means having no emotions, feelings of pity, mercy, sympathy or something like that. And humorous means a jolly person. So here as we can only say he was heroic, because he was the person who did this courageous act. He was selfless because he didn't think for himself. and he was brave. So, these three words we can select for this person, this character, because these are the only things we can feel, we can understand about this person Sanjeev. So, he was brave because he took risk to go and save that lady. He was heroic because it was actually sacrificing his life for the sake of others' life is actually a heroic action. And then selfless, as I have already told you, he was not selfish, that is why he went to help the other, else he could deny it clearly and he could be escaped with his wife and his small child. Now, remaining are given here. Use words from the list to complete the three sentences below. Now, three sentences are given, and whatever the words are given upward, you have to use the words to describe or to fill the sentences. So, it is given, I don't know if Sanjeev was cheerful dash or dash. So, which characteristics of Sanjeev are not clear to us. So, as we have already discussed that we do not know whether he was ambitious, he had any goals for his life or not, or he was satisfied self-contented person, and at the same time we did not know whether he was a brash, means a person who liked to admire himself. So, we can write here, I do not know if Sanjeev was cheerful, brash or ambitious. So, we cannot say any word about these characteristics for Sanjeev. Then we have to find here, I think that he was very brave dash and dash. So, obviously we have discussed which characteristics or which qualities of Sanjeev are clearly picturized in this story. So, we know he was brave, as we have already marked it, then he was heroic, and even he was selfless. Now, Sanjeev was not heartless. Now, which is clear, that is very true to us, that we can easily guess that these qualities or these were not the part of his characteristics. So, we know that he was not heartless, he had emotions, being a human being, that is why he helped the lady. Even he was not cheerful, because it is not mentioned here about that, and even he was not humorous. So, in this way, using the words with the help of the story described in the chapter, you can fill the sentences. Now, third and fourth question is remaining. Later on, we will discuss in the coming class. Till then, you can go through the chapter one more time. If you have any doubt, you can note down, and the next class you can discuss. If there is no doubt, surely we will continue the exercises for discussion, and we will continue the question answers and some more grammar exercise given here. So, very soon we will be together in next class. Till then, read the chapter, find answers for the questions given at the back of the lesson, and then come together, we will have a next discussion. Thank you.